Good afternoon, class. Um, I'm going to talk just a few minutes about two dissertations that I found using the ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global resource that we have available to us. I currently have a research project going on exploring the Battle of Mill Springs, a famous battle, or not so well-known battle in the Civil War, one of the first major Union victories that took place a little less than an hour from where I live and work here in Kentucky. And specifically, I'd like to look into why the Confederate General Felix Zollicoffer crossed the Cumberland River onto the northern side, essentially causing him and his army to be surrounded and eventually defeated, and how this set a pattern and for the Civil War broadly, and also compare and contrast his command and that of the Union General Thomas, and try to draw some parallels and patterns to those things. Two dissertations that I found. One was by John Derrick Fowler, called Mountaineers in Gray, about the 19th Tennessee Infantry Regiment. This was completed at the University of Tennessee in the year 2000. And although Fowler does mention Zollicoffer's aggression and boldness, it doesn't really draw too many parallels between his command and that of General Thomas. And another dissertation by Miranda Beck of Liberty University, completed in the year 2014, called A Southerner for the Union, Major General George Thomas, a brief biographical sketch and analysis of the causes and effects of his decision for the North. So he was a reluctant Unionist from Virginia, or a reluctant Virginian, I should say, whereas Zollicoffer was a reluctant Unionist, or a reluctant Confederate from Tennessee. And so in many ways, they're the exact opposite of each other. In her dissertation, she points out, as many historians do in standard histories, of Zollicoffer's military inexperience. He was primarily a political general, a political appointee, and many historians point to this fact as the major issue in his decision to cross the Cumberland River. However, she does say that he had the element of surprise, and thought and believed he had the element of surprise, which is contradicted by at least two different major histories of Mill Springs, who point out that Union troops and Union scouts had been watching them in their approach to the Cumberland River for quite some time and knew exactly where they were. But both of these dissertations use sources, a very balanced list of sources, both primary and secondary, including a 1993 dissertation by Noel Fisher called War at Every Door, a master's thesis by James C. Stampard of the University of Tennessee from 1967, and Liberty professor Stephen Woodworth's secondary sources, his books on Jefferson Davis and his generals and the failure of the Confederate command in the West. They also make extensive use of primary sources. Mr. Fowler specifically uses the Daniel C. Miller papers from the University of Virginia, a first-hand account of soldiers who were in the 19th Tennessee Regiment, and their first-hand accounts and dealings with General Zollicoffer. And so they use a balanced reliance on both primary and secondary sources, newspapers, letters, archives from the University of Tennessee and the University of Virginia. And essentially, what I would like to do is use these sources and use these dissertations to continue this research, and I would like to expand on how General Zollicoffer and General Thomas represented broadly speaking, represented the Confederacy and the Union respectively in both their trends and also the broader trajectories, or what would become the trajectory of the Civil War. I believe that Mill Springs represents these things in a microcosm, in a small, early example, and a harbinger of things that were to come. So this is a tremendous resource. I've already gotten a lot of research from ProQuest Dissertations, and I look forward to digging into these things some more. Thank you.